Alright, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I have a very special treat for you. I have my good friend Paul Nissan right here, and we're going to answer a question. And this question has been on my mind a lot, and I'm sure we're both going to have different views on what this question is. So the question is, what is the biggest tragedy in raw foods today? So Paul, what would you say the number one and only one tragedy in raw foods today?
I think the biggest mistake in raw foods today is people thinking that raw food is a panacea and they can switch to a raw food diet and completely overcome all their illnesses, when there's a lot more to health than just raw food. If somebody's illness is because of their low quality food, which many of the illnesses are, then yes, diet will have a tremendous impact on their healing. However, not all illnesses are diet related. So if somebody just tries to change their diet, especially if they think it's good, because raw food doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, because it's raw junk food. So a lot of people think they can just eat a raw food diet and they'll get better from everything. And that's not the case, and I think it's a tragedy for people to think that, because I see a lot of people get into the raw foods and end up worse than they were before they even started. And I think the main reason why was because they thought raw food was a panacea and it completely could take away all their illnesses and everything else. And they find out the hard way, well, that's not necessarily the case. And a lot of people feel great when they start the raw food diet because they are leaving something out that was contributing in the past to their illness, so they might feel better, but it doesn't mean they're automatically doing better. So I think that's the number one problem I see happening, is people thinking the raw food diet is the answer all. And I think it's a great thing, it's a great step in the right direction, but there's more to it than just the food we eat.
Absolutely, Paul. So I would definitely agree with Paul that one of the biggest tragedies is thinking raw food is the panacea and it's going to cure all your ails. Now, it's not going to cure all your ails because, as Paul said, there's many other areas that you need to work on: emotional, spiritual, and physical, which is just more than just the food. So probably the way I would answer that question, I think for me, one of the biggest tragedies in the raw foods right now are, some of the people in raw foods teaching the stuff. Because you know what? With good teachers, people get good information disseminated, and without good teachers, you get not good information. And there's many, in my opinion, there's many teachers and chefs and teaching and preparing foods that aren't so healthy. For example, some raw food people teach and sell and say you should eat certain foods like cacao every day because they're full of antioxidants and they're supposed to be good for you, but in reality they're a drug. And actually, you want to check Paul's show. What's your show, Paul?
The Raw Life Health Show.
Raw Life Health Show. And what's the website?
RawLifeHealthShow.com.
All right. And he had a great video on like an hour and a half on cacao. And, he goes into detail on why it's not so good. But yet, at the restaurant I ate at last night, they're serving cacao. In a recent contest that's online, over half the recipes, over the half of the raw recipes include cacao. And to me, cacao is not a health food. It's, it's a drug. And if you want to use it as a drug, I think there's nothing wrong with that. But going back to the teachers, if the teachers aren't teaching the right thing, then people are going to have problems. So, like Paul said, you could get on a raw foods diet and eat a lot of the processed raw foods, which is getting away from fresh fruits and vegetables that are like right behind us. And then you may succeed and do well for a period of time, but you know what? There's only a period of time where you're bettering your diet. So you come from a standard American diet, and then processed raw foods is definitely above that. But then you're going to peter out, and then you're going to start going downhill if you're not continually improving and not eating a higher quality and a better quality of food, including more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And not a whole lot of raw food teachers, unfortunately, will teach you this in the raw foods, and I think that is the greatest tragedy.
Yeah, there's a lot of deception out there because there are a lot of people that get into the raw food diet, and just after a couple of years they think they're these raw gurus and they write books, and just because they're good in marketing, other people look at them upon that they know a lot. They might know more than the person who's just brand new to this, but they're pretty new to it themselves. And I've changed my viewpoint on a lot of things over the years as I learned more. So I really, the people that have been doing this the longest usually know the best, but even them have created a following behind them often that they don't want to tell people the truth because they'll lose their following. So they're almost doing it for the wrong reason. But I tell everyone, the fruits and the vegetables in its fresh form, that needs to be the basis of the diet. And everything else is a snack or a fun food or a drug. And if you keep the raw, ripe, fresh, organic fruits and vegetables as the main point, you'll do okay. But it's not an answer to all, and you don't want to listen to people that say you need other things more than you need the fresh foods. That's not the right answer.
That can't be the right answer.
Yeah, and whatever form somebody wants to do it in, whether it's blended, juicing, or whole foods, just make sure it's raw, ripe, fresh, and organic, and then you'll be on a good step and a good way to go. But don't listen to people that say you need more packaged foods, dehydrated foods, raw candies, cacao, and all this stuff. Cacao's not even really raw, and they finally came out and admitted that. And we're going to find out later that a lot of these things that are considered healthy in the raw food movement are not only not healthy, but some of them are quite toxic to the body. So we have to be careful with that. The raw food diet itself, I don't even like to promote anymore because of what it stands for today. I like to call it a fresh food diet. And that's what I think we need to eat. It's a fresh food diet. And everyone will improve their health if they eat more fresh fruits and vegetables in their diet. But again, it's not an answer to all. I think sleep, exercise, water, and all these things are even more important than those things. Because I know people that do those things and they don't eat healthy and they're doing better than people that eat a certain way and they don't do those things and they're doing worse. So you have to make sure you're looking at all the areas and you're not being deceived by teachers that really don't know a lot, but they sound like they do.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. You know, there always seems to be a new YouTube blogger that's blogging about raw food. They make these videos like they know it all, and you know, then you look into them, and how long have they been doing this? Like maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. So you really want to take a look at your teachers. I mean, I've been into this since 1995. How long have you been into it, Paul?
I don't remember, but around that time actually.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for a real long time, and you know, our wisdom shows. Because all our lives experiences go into what we each teach. And, you know, we don't teach exactly the same thing, but you know what? We're like overlap so much on the things we believe, and we definitely agree with the one thing, is that the majority of your diet should be fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, as fresh as possible. And you can see, you know, Paul puts his money where his mouth is. He's growing all this fresh food right behind us, and you can do that too in your backyard, in your front yard, or beyond. And be sure to check my other YouTube channel, growingyourgreens.com, to learn how you can grow your own fresh food.
Let me also say that you don't have to agree with somebody for them to be correct, because there are different people that promote different things, and they could all be right from a health standpoint, but the basis has to be fresh fruits and vegetables.
All right, so once again, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time, and keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're good stuff.